welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are getting into our conversations this morning, and our first conversation is, interestingly enough, with Sergeant Joseph Jordon. And I say interestingly enough, we're going to get into it in a bit, but good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning to you. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago Division and listening audience. Thanks for having the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Thanks for having me, as per usual.
And I know that the public has quite a lot of questions. And coming off from my last story in the news this morning, we talked about additional ferry sailings. And we saw the other night some videos circulating on social media with several police vehicles coming off the ferry, as well as officers. So it seems as though, well, there's talk on the ground that there's an invasion of police officers in Tobago. What's going on there?
Right. An invasion of police officers, I find it to be some kind of violent. Right? But nevertheless, what the Tobago Division has been doing over the last few months, we have been interacting and cooperating with our sister isle or the other divisions, the other units, to assist in the crime fighting initiatives in the Tobago Division. And that includes the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, other arms of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So these pictures and videos that are circulating, it only means that we are trying to make Tobago safe or safer. And especially where we know that the Tobago Division at this point in time is the hub or the holiday hub for visitors, especially from our sister isle Trinidad. And therefore, we need to ensure that those visitors as well as our residents remain safe during the July-August holidays.
So there are some people that are saying that the amount of officers in Tobago, the increase of officers in Tobago, is an attempt to distress Tobagonians.
I beg to differ from that view. We are here to provide a service. We have a duty to perform, and we are going to execute that without fear or favor. And people need to understand that if we do not take crime and sometimes the trivial incidents seriously, they tend to escalate, and we're trying not to have a situation where our statistics are reading in the red. So we want to ensure the public that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the other supporting arms, it's not a matter of distressing, it's a matter of enforcing, and we are actually being very proactive at this point in time to make Trinidad and Tobago safe.
And speaking about distressing, there's another distressing matter in the space, and that is the Wreaker is in town.
Right, yes. The Wreaker has started working in the Tobago Division probably over a week now, and it has become necessary to ensure that our streets are policed and the traffic is allowed to flow in a very, lawful manner. Now, a lot of people has the fear of the Wreaker, and all kind of videos are circulating and all these negativity. However, it is simple. If you abide by the law, there is no reason for the Wreaker or for your vehicle to be towed. And the wrecking of a vehicle only takes place if there's a contravention. So if you are parked within an area that you are supposed to park or within a car park, they will not be affected. And persons need to appreciate, and as I often, when I come here on mornings or whatever time, I try to draw reference to some of the laws that give us our authority. So in this instance where wrecking takes place, we look at section 4850 of the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, and we look at section 108. And this is information that is the general public can access. And this is where the power to remove a vehicle can be found. And that is where the police operates in that manner. So that gives us that guidance, as well as our standing orders speaks of it. Our standing, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Standing Order section 44 speaks of these as to how the police should operate. And this can even be found with, as it relates to the impounding of vehicles. And we have section 12 to 18 speaks to that. And we just don't wreck a vehicle. So basically, in order for a vehicle to be wrecked or towed, it must be causing a hindrance in the roadway, right? It must be in contravention of a traffic sign or a traffic regulation. And this is basically the two circumstances under which a vehicle is wrecked, may be wrecked. Furthermore, if a vehicle is parked in an area that is creating an issue, the public, or sometimes it might be, let me say, it might be blocking the entrance of a person to get to their home. So this vehicle is parked up there. You trying to get into your driveway and you cannot get into the driveway. You can call the police and they can remove that vehicle because it is causing a problem. They may not necessarily have a sign there to indicate that no parking, but you are therefore causing a problem for the person to get into their own house. So the police has the authority to remove that vehicle by any means necessary. It includes towing it or being wrecked or driving it or any way they see fit. People often speak about damages.
Yes, I was just about to cue that question.
Right, damages to the vehicle. No, generally, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the wrecking crew, we are not liable for damages done once the vehicle has been removed or wrecked in a proper way. Now, if we look at the wrecking services over the years have improved, because in order to be a police wrecker, as we often say, you have to reach certain criteria. So a vehicle, you don't want to be damaging somebody's vehicle. So they would have sort of had advanced wrecking, so that some vehicles are actually taken off the road, placed on a bed, and towed to the station or the impounding area. So as it relates to that and damages, what often happens, when the person comes to pick up their vehicle, they would be asked to look at the vehicle to see if any damages were done. If indeed damages were done, the officer in charge would be notified and a report would be taken, it will be recorded, and an investigation will take place. Once it is found that the officers and the wrecking crew were reckless or negligent in their approach, then the necessary things will be put in place for the person to be compensated.
All right. What about in terms of just the wrecking itself, right? Because I know that there's sometimes a little bit of a grace period that can be extended to people if they're parking in an area that is not.
Well, certainly, right. No, standard procedures as it relates to wrecking is that if a vehicle is in an area in contravention or hindering the free flow of traffic, the crew or the officer, he should make some inquiries in the immediate vicinity. And we ain't talking about inquiries wholly. We have a few minutes, right? A few minutes, you walk around, you're probably, the driver of so-and-so vehicle, is this, are you the driver? You make some inquiry. And if nobody shows up, at that point in time, the vehicle will be wrecked. If while the vehicle is being placed or in the process of being wrecked and the driver or the person in control of that vehicle arrives and claims the vehicle, then the wrecking crew should put back the vehicle, do not continue the process, and just issue them a ticket in contravention of the law.
So is it that that they have to stop if the person shows up during the process?
Yes. Once the vehicle is not on the move. So once the process is taking place at that particular point in time and the person or the owner of the vehicle shows up, then the wrecking crew has the right to leave the people in the vehicle and issue them a ticket. But once it is in transit, even though you're coming running after, hey, my vehicle, it's too late.
It's too late.
Right?
And then what is the driver now? What is their responsibility at that point?
Right.
What is the course of action they can take, or what do they have to
Well,
pay?
once your vehicle has been impounded, it will be taken into an area. As a case in Scarborough at this point in time, it will be taken to the Scarborough police station. You would go to the station, you would produce your documents, as relates to your driver's permit, your certificate of insurance, and you would be fined $500. So $300, it is divided into two parts, $300 for the removal and $200 for the custody of the vehicle, for the safekeeping, right? And each day, you don't come for your vehicle. additional fees would be added. So it is as simple as that. So it's a total of so a vehicle that is wrecked would be the person retrieving such, they would pay $500.
And what about the allegation that these wreckers are trying to fill a certain quota or make money for the government?
Now that is ludicrous. Because the money is not paid to say, well, at the end of the day, I want to say, like, right, how much money we make today? This for you? No, that is not how it works. The money is deposited into the treasury, and the monies are dispersed accordingly. It has nothing to do with trying to make a quota. Because if you're really trying to make a quota, I think the wrecking situation might have been worse, because it means that every vehicle you wreck, additional money will be going into your pocket. No, the purpose of wrecking is to just create law and order. As we often see, many of us, when we traverse our tongues, vehicles are parked in contravention of signs, regulations, and it contributes to the free flow of traffic. And this is where, or hence the reason why the wrecking services are implemented across Trinidad and Tobago, is to assist in allowing for free flow of traffic. If you are in traffic, it ain't moving. It means that somebody or something is caught or disrupting that free flow. And I'm certain that the public would appreciate if this vehicle is blocking the free flow and the wrecker is there. We would like them to come into action and remove them so that the traffic can flow. So let us not look at the wrecking service as a
distressing tool.
Yes, a distressing tool. No, it is not. What I would like to advise the public is that you comply with the rules and the regulation that governs our country, especially on the roadway. There are certain streets, there are certain roads that no parking.
And then how do people know or understand where they can park and where they cannot park?
Right.
Because I think some people really don't understand.
No, well, generally, the purpose of a road is for the free flow of traffic. If there is some form of delay in that free flow, is because of something impeding its path. At the end of the day, what the laws of the land outline is that there are areas designated as no parking, no waiting, or there may be signs where you can park on certain days of the week and certain times of the week. These signs are generally erected or placed on the ground. So what I want to advise the public is that be mindful of these signs when you traverse the roadways, especially in the towns and the cities. Let's look for these signs. As I said, they may be erected, some may be on the ground. So look for them and avoid being a victim of the wrecker. And
even in the communities, the small communities, because we've had quite a lot of that complaint over the past week, I should say, especially where the Tobago Heritage Festival is moving around to different villages.
Right. And it brings me back to one of the earlier example that I would have used in the instance where a vehicle is blocking your entrance to your home. How could we remove, how can you access your home? It most likely would mean that you will have to get the wrecker because you are unable to get or to find out who the driver is. So in instances like that, people should not park to disturb or to distress, and they should not park in areas that are designated as no parking areas, and they should also observe the signs that are placed on the ground or erected.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Ms. Sergeant Jordon, for being on with us and for explaining to us the situation of what's going on with the wrecker. Well, viewers, if you're out with the Tobago Heritage Festival that's going on right now, we're going to be in Mariah tomorrow and Speyside on Sunday. Just be very mindful of where you park. Don't be afraid to walk. I know some of us don't like to park right in front where we have to go. No. Get some walking shoes on and get a little exercise in. It's good for you.